Moin, hallo, servus, welcome back. Germany versus Austria. Christoph Waltz on the difference between Austrians and Germans. I think Christoph Waltz is amazing. He's an incredible actor. There's an interesting comment in one of my prior videos saying, I hate how your American brain goes to the big Hollywood pictures immediately when talking about World War II. Something along those lines. When it really wasn't that deep. I like Tarantino. I like Tarantino films. He's not my favorite director of all time, but I do enjoy Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained, and the performances by Christoph Waltz in those two films, bar none, like some of the best acting we've ever seen, in my opinion. I just think they're good films. They're not perfect by any means, but the only reason I brought them up is because I'm familiar with them and I've seen them quite a few times since they came out. Let's get to Christoph Waltz's explanation on the difference between Austrians and Germans. Guessing Conan needs some education on this matter. Let's get into it.
I know that you're from Austria, is that correct?
That's right, that's right.
And there are, like many Americans, unfortunately, I don't know enough about the rest of the world, and I'm familiar with Germany, but I don't know the difference, say, in the culture between, say, Austrians and Germans. Can you enlighten us?
Oh, the difference between Austrians and Germans is like the difference between a battleship and a waltz.
A battleship and a waltz?
That's about the difference between...
Really?
Yeah.
So there's really not a...
That's a wide abyss of difference. A battleship and a waltz. Okay, Christoph. Continue.
A lot of similarities is what you're saying. How are the Austrians different? I mean, I know there's the Germans, there's the cliche, which is they have no sense of humor.
That's not a cliche.
It's just 100% true.
Well, it's sort of, Germans, I hope I'm not hurting anybody's feelings.
No,
but Germans...
It does go out on television.
Yeah.
I mean, the Germans might hear about this.
Well,
They won't hear about this. Please speak freely. It's just, it's just us and a fake moon. Please speak.
Thank you. I think Germans always go for a head-on collision. And it rarely has sort of grace and melody and rhythm. It's just the... And
there's no irony, there's no sense of, they just say exactly what they mean.
Exactly. Everything else is dubious and slimy and...
They're suspicious
I'm highly dubious and slimy, so...
Yeah. I love it when a guest just comes out and says that. But you Austrians then have a sense of humor.
Well, it's Austrians tend...
So they're kind of building off the stereotype that we heard just earlier in the conversation, the Germans have no sense of humor thing, which is not true, but it's a funny cliche nevertheless. Also, like the German language sounding so harsh, when we've talked about this before, that it's not the language, it's the way that the person is speaking, which you can apply this harshness to any language. If you're speaking and enunciating harshly, doesn't matter what language it is.
And to make their lives easier. So first of all, they are very polite, and second, they don't mean it. So... And it's just, a mode of communication and exchange, and
yes.
in between you have a sip. So, what can go wrong?
Very nice. Well, I'm Irish.
We've heard you guys have made comments about how Germans don't do like the fake friendliness much. Like if you're shopping and you're walking by somebody like smiling at them and stuff, like you don't really do the fake smile and stuff like that in other countries people might do. Little differences like that, right?
I understand.
Exactly. Well,
we're the same way. We are very nice, but we don't mean it.
No, absolutely. But Ireland has 9 Literature Nobel Prize winners. 9.
Yeah.
I mean, that says something for communication in a culture.
Yes.
The difference between, in all
Ireland has
seriousness,
9.
if that's
Wow.
appropriate at all.
No, we'll cut this part out.
The difference between Austrians and Germans is very much like English and Irish.
Right.
Very much.
Right. There's more of the sense of the silly and the absurd, probably.
Yeah.
You're fluent in many, I believe, 3 languages.
Yeah, well.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
You
that's
should be
okay.
proud of
Yeah,
that. So you go to a different country, even if you know the language, you can say, or you think you know the language, you can say things that are inappropriate.
Absolutely. But I can do that anyway.
He knows German, English, French.
I could do that.
You don't need that, is what you're saying.
No,
Yeah.
I don't need a language for that.
Yeah. Let's.
All right, Christoph Waltz. Yeah, interesting point he made. I think that was a interesting comparison, comparing the English and the Irish to the German and the Austrian for those communication differences, language differences, stuff like that. You guys let me know in the comments your thoughts on it. Christoph Waltz, yeah, he hasn't done much lately, eh? Like, those 2 roles were huge for him. I haven't really seen him in much lately, but he's a fantastic actor. That first scene in *Inglourious Basterds*, when Hans Landa is on the farm and that whole tense kind of very suspenseful scene happens. Some fantastic acting, regardless of your thoughts on the movie. All right, see you on the next one, people. Auf Wiedersehen.